Something still breathes in the desert. There's something about the Arizona desert that doesn't die. The sun burns down until even shadows disappear. Yet somehow, the cold still finds you when the night falls. People say this place is haunted not by ghosts, but by the things we leave behind, promises, pain, and the kind of fear that sticks to your bones. For more than 100 years, travelers, miners, and drifters have walked through this desert, and not all of them ever came back. You can still hear their voices if you listen long enough. Some echo through abandoned hotels where lights flicker without power. Some whisper from forgotten mine shafts buried under centuries of dust. And some still move in the dark like the desert itself is breathing. Tonight, we're going deep into Arizona's 11 most haunted places. These aren't legends. These are real stories, backed by witnesses, police reports, and the kind of evidence you wish you'd never seen. From cursed hotels to screaming canyons, from ghost miners to lost gold seekers who vanished without a trace. This isn't the Arizona you've seen in travel guides. This is the side that never sleeps. So turn off the lights, put your phone face down, and remember, if you ever find yourself driving through the desert after midnight and your GPS suddenly goes quiet, don't stop. Don't look back, because some roads in Arizona don't lead anywhere. They just bring something to you. Whispers beneath the sand. The desert is endless. Miles of cracked earth, broken rock and wind that sounds almost human. But somewhere within it are places where the air changes, where time bends, and something unseen waits. The Copper Queen Hotel, Bisbee, Arizona. Bisbee looks like a town trapped in amber. Old buildings, narrow streets, and shadows that don't belong. The Copper Queen Hotel has stood since 1902, built for miners who dreamed of striking it rich. Some did, most didn't, and some never left. Locals say room 315 still smells faintly of lavender, long after the maid who loved that scent took her last breath there. Her name was Julia Lowell, a woman who worked as a dancer when the mines dried up and the men vanished. She spent her nights in room 315, waiting for one man who promised he'd take her away. He never came. They found her body near the balcony one morning, her hair still wet from tears. Guests still report whispers in the dark, a woman's laughter echoing just behind their ear. Some see the shadow of a woman standing at the balcony rail, looking down, waiting. Staff say she appears most often when a man checks in alone. The lights flicker, the mirror fogs, and sometimes a faint lipstick kiss appears on the glass that no one put there. They say if you stay long enough, she'll whisper something you'll never forget. Because it's not a name. It's a warning. To the Lost Dutchman's Mine, Superstition Mountains. The name alone should have been a clue. These mountains rise from the desert like broken teeth, jagged, ancient, and almost alive. For more than a century, people have searched for the Lost Dutchman's gold mine, chasing the story of Jacob Waltz, the miner who supposedly found a fortune hidden deep in the stone. He died before revealing where it was. And since then, hundreds have gone looking. Some came back empty-handed. Others never came back at all. Rangers have found their gear scattered, tents slashed open, journals half buried in dust, pages filled with words like voices, screaming, wind, and the thing that follows. They say the mountain guards its secret, not with traps or cliffs, but with something older. Hikers report shapes moving just beyond flashlight range. One prospector's last words on his radio were, "I think it's watching me." Then silence. Local Apache tribes have always warned people not to disturb this land. They call it the place where the thunder sleeps. And maybe the mine isn't cursed because of the gold. Maybe it's cursed because it was never meant to be found. 3. Jerome Grand Hotel, Jerome, Arizona. If hell had a waiting room, it would look like the Jerome Grand Hotel. It sits high above the town like a watchtower, built in 1926 as a hospital. The United Verde Hospital treated miners crushed in cave-ins, burned by explosions and poisoned by gas. Hundreds died here, and the building remembers every scream. When it closed in 1950, the structure sat empty for nearly 40 years. Then it was reopened as a hotel, but guests soon realized it had never truly been empty. The elevator still creaks at night, moving on its own. Room 32 is always cold even when the power is off, and staff sometimes hear the gurney wheels rolling through the halls, though the hospital's basement, where they used to keep the dead, was sealed decades ago. One guest swore he saw a nurse in an old-style uniform standing at the end of the hall, She smiled, turned, and vanished into the elevator shaft. When they checked the camera later, there was no one there, just the doors sliding open and shut on their own. Locals say if you listen closely in the silence of the lobby, you can still hear the hospital intercom crackle to life. A soft, distorted voice says the same phrase every time. Code blue, basement. 4. The haunted orphanage, Agua Fria. This one doesn't appear on any map. It was once an orphanage built in the 1920s, tucked into a canyon near Agua Fria. A flash flood in 1937 wiped it out, drowning almost everyone inside. The state sealed the road, built fences, and tried to forget, but some people still find their way there. They say at night the air smells like smoke and wet dust. If you stand where the main building used to be, you can hear children's voices, singing softly like a lullaby. Sometimes small handprints appear on your car windows. Sometimes the sound of dripping water turns into laughter. One paranormal investigator recorded what sounded like a child saying, "Don't leave us." When he played it back later, another voice, much deeper, whispered behind it, "They're not the ones trapped. Nobody goes there anymore. Even the coyotes keep their distance." Echoes from the dust. The desert doesn't forget. It just buries what it remembers, and layer after layer, until someone foolish enough comes digging again. And when they do, the desert listens. 5. Vulture Mine, Wickenburg, Arizona. At first glance, it's just an old mining camp. Rusted shacks, broken wagons, and silence thick enough to choke on. But under that silence, something still moves. Vulture Mine was once a boomtown, 5,000 people chasing gold under the brutal Arizona sun. Then came the cave-ins, the murders, and the hangings. By 1942, it was abandoned, left to rot under the sand. Today, the wind whistles through the empty buildings, carrying voices that shouldn't exist. Visitors report hearing picks striking rock, rhythmic, desperate, and echoing from tunnels that no longer exist. One tourist described hearing a man shouting, "We're caving in." When they looked around, the mine entrance was sealed, untouched since the 1950s. There's one cabin locals refuse to enter. They call it the hanging house. Every morning, the rope inside is found swinging. Even when there's no wind, they say if you knock 3 times on its door, you'll hear someone climb the stairs above you. Slow, heavy steps, and then the floorboards creak, as if someone just stepped off the edge. 6. The Yuma Territorial Prison. This isn't just a prison. It's a scar carved into stone. Opened in 1876, it was known as the Hellhole of Arizona. Built by the prisoners themselves, its walls still hum with the heat of suffering. Over 3,000 inmates passed through. Thieves, killers, and the innocent alike. Many died of disease, starvation, or madness. Tourists today say they can hear chains rattling in cell block 3, where the solitary confinement pit still smells like iron and salt. Some report shadows pacing behind the bars even when the cells are empty. The most chilling story is about room 14, where a man named John Ryan hung himself after claiming to hear whispers calling his name night after night. Now visitors claim to feel their name being whispered too. A cold breath on the neck, a faint tug on the shirt, and then just silence. The guards who work night shifts there refuse to stay past midnight. They say the prison changes. The air becomes thick, almost liquid, and sometimes the cell doors slam all at once, as if the inmates are still trying to escape. 7. Canyon Diablo Ghost Town. Before Route 66, before modern maps, there was Canyon Diablo. A town so wild that even the outlaws were scared of it. It was born in 1880, built near a railway crossing that was never finished. No lawmen, no rules, and just gambling, gunfights, and graves. For 15 years, it thrived on chaos, until one night in 1895, the entire town caught fire. Some say it was lightning. Others say it was the devil collecting what was his. When they rebuilt, the laughter didn't return, only whispers. Travelers passing through report seeing flickering lanterns in the distance. When they get closer, the lights vanish, leaving only boot prints that lead nowhere. Paranormal researchers who've camped near the ruins claim to hear gunshots echo through the canyon walls. One investigator woke up to find a deck of burnt playing cards laid out beside his tent. The top one, the Queen of Spades, folded in half. Locals still call it the town that won't stay dead. And if you visit at night, they say you'll smell smoke and whiskey, and hear laughter, faint, like it's coming from a saloon that no longer exists. 8. the domes of Casa Grande. These strange, massive concrete domes look like something from another planet. But they were built in 1982 for a tech company that went bankrupt before finishing construction. Since then, the desert has taken them back, and something else has taken over. The domes are shaped like giant eggs, with acoustics so eerie that even your own footsteps sound wrong. When you whisper, your voice echoes in front of you, not behind. Some visitors hear whispers answering them back, repeating words they never said. Graffiti covers the walls now. Warning symbols, names scratched into stone. But one phrase shows up everywhere in different handwriting in different years. Don't wake it. One group of urban explorers set up camp inside the largest dome. At 3 a.m., one of them screamed, said he saw a shadow crawling on the ceiling. They ran out. When they returned the next day, they found deep claw marks in the concrete, and one of their cameras smashed to dust. The footage it captured? Nothing but static, except for a single whispered phrase, "You shouldn't have come." The desert remembers. They say ghosts fade when the world forgets them, but out here, in the middle of the Arizona desert, nothing ever really fades. It just waits. And when the wind is right, the past begins to breathe again. 9. The Baghdad Cafe ruins. Route 66's vanishing stop. Once, this was the pride of Route 66, bright neon, cold milkshakes and laughter echoing under a burning sun. Now it's nothing but cracked asphalt and a flickering sign that buzzes, though no electricity runs through it. Truckers say the cafe reappears on moonless nights, glowing faintly in the distance. When they pull over, it's gone. But sometimes they swear they still smell burnt coffee and cherry pie. In 2017, a YouTuber filmed himself exploring the spot. At 2 a.m., his camera caught a faint hum, the jukebox playing Blue Moon. He uploaded it, but the audio vanished from the file. Every copy after that plays silence, except for 1 second of laughter at the end. 10. Fort Huachuca, the Whistling Soldier. This active army base dates back to 1877, guarding the Mexican border. But soldiers still whisper about the Whistler. During late patrols, a single note cuts through the desert air, the tune of When Johnny Comes Marching Home. Those who follow it never reach the sound. It's always just beyond the next ridge. Base historians confirm, during the Spanish-American War, a private named Elias Monroe died alone in the desert, still blowing his fife for retreat. They never found his instrument, only a trail of boot prints ending abruptly in the sand. Last year, thermal drones detected a lone heat signature walking the same path. But when soldiers arrived, there were no tracks, no figure, and the same low whistle circling through the wind. Here's Highway 191, the road to nowhere. Locals call it the most cursed road in America. It stretches straight through Arizona's most desolate landscape. No gas stations, no phone signal, no mercy. Truckers see headlights in their mirrors and white, blinding fast. When they pull aside to let them pass, the lights vanish. No tire marks, no engine noise. In 2003, a family driving from Clifton disappeared here. Their car was found weeks later. Doors locked, radio still playing white noise. No one inside. Only one message written in the dust on the windshield. Keep driving. Highway 191's mile markers change too. Locals swear mile 139 appears twice. Same cactus, same billboard, same hitchhiker. Some say if you stop for him, he sits silently in the back seat. When you glance in the mirror, he's smiling. When you turn around, he's gone. 12. The Superstition Mountains, the Lost Dutchman's Curse. No Arizona tale is complete without these mountains. A labyrinth of stone where time folds in on itself. Jacob Waltz, the Lost Dutchman, supposedly discovered a gold mine here in 1891. He died before revealing its location, and hundreds have vanished searching for it since. Hikers hear pickaxes striking in the distance. Deep inside canyons where no human can reach, compass needles spin wildly. GPS trackers loop in circles, showing the same coordinates again and again, as if the mountains themselves refuse to let you go. One park ranger tells of seeing a man in 19th century clothes waving for help from across a ravine. He radioed rescue. When they arrived, there were no footprints, only a pile of stones shaped like an arrow, pointing toward the sun. At night, the peaks glow faintly gold, but when you get close, it's just lightless rock. Locals believe it's not treasure shining, but the souls of those who went looking for it. 13. The Biosphere 2 facility, a future buried in sand. Built in the 1990s as an ecological experiment, Biosphere 2 was meant to simulate life on another planet. But after the scientists sealed themselves inside, things turned strange. Communications cut out for days. Plants withered overnight. Animals turned on each other. When they finally reopened the doors, several participants refused to speak of what happened. Today, tourists report fog forming under the glass domes even on clear days, and voices murmuring beneath the water systems, repeating numbers like coordinates. Infrared cameras show silhouettes walking the corridors long after closing time, yet no alarms ever trigger, and security insists they see nothing on live feed. Maybe the experiment never ended. Maybe something else is still in there, waiting to finish what humanity started. 14. The abandoned asylum at Florence. The asylum opened in 1905 and closed less than 20 years later after a fire gutted half the facility. Most of the records burned, but one remained, a note scribbled by the last warden. They won't stop singing. Residents nearby say they still hear hymns floating across the desert at dusk. Each verse grows softer until it sounds more like weeping. Explorers have filmed inside, empty hallways, rusted beds, and on the walls, charcoal handprints reaching upward. Some prints are child-sized, others are far too tall. Thermal scans reveal faint outlines on the ceilings as if bodies once clung there. And in the basement morgue, someone carved 3 words into the stone slab. We are still. 15. Lake Roosevelt, the drowned town. Beneath the calm blue surface of Lake Roosevelt lies an entire sunken settlement, Old Roosevelt Village. Flooded when the dam was built in 1911, divers exploring its remains describe hearing bells underwater, even though the church steeple collapsed decades ago. One diver's footage captured a shadow moving through a window of the submerged schoolhouse. When he surfaced, he was trembling. He said he saw desks floating and children sitting at them staring upward. Since then, no one dives after dusk. Locals claim the lake glows faintly gold under a new moon, like something alive still breathes beneath. The desert never sleeps. Every whisper in the wind, every shimmer on the horizon, every echo underfoot, it's all part of a memory that refuses to die. Because out here, the line between history and haunting has already vanished. If you ever drive through Arizona, keep your windows rolled up. Don't stop when you hear a voice calling your name. And if you see a light flicker across the sand, just keep driving, because sometimes the past doesn't want to be found. And sometimes it's already in the back seat. Subscribe now for more true dark history and haunted legends, where every story hides something real beneath the dust. Next time we go deeper and beyond Arizona, into the American void.